When my phone buzzed that evening, I wasn't expecting the message that would change everything. Can't make it tonight. Work's insane. Rain check. It was from my wife, Emma. Just a few words, ordinary, harmless. The kind of text every couple exchanges now and then. But that night something about it didn't sit right. Maybe it was the timing. Maybe it was the fact that I'd spent the past week feeling like I was slowly becoming a ghost in my own marriage. I stared at the screen for a long minute before typing back a calm, almost detached response. No problem. Be safe, okay? I hit send. Then I set my phone down, my chest tight with a kind of unease you can't quite explain. Like you're watching a storm roll in but pretending it's just clouds. Emma and I had been married for 7 years. We weren't perfect, but we were solid, or at least I thought we were. She worked in marketing, loved her job, and often came home with stories about her team, her clients, the chaos of deadlines. Lately, though, she'd stopped telling me those stories. Her laughter, that easy, spontaneous sound I fell in love with, had grown rare. Her phone, once left lying face up on the counter, now followed her everywhere. I told myself I was being paranoid. Every marriage goes through rough patches. But there's a difference between space and distance. And with Emma, I felt distance, thick, silent, suffocating. That night was supposed to be our dinner night. A small tradition to reconnect after busy weeks. But work's insane had become her new refrain, and I had learned not to argue. Still, when I got her text, I couldn't shake the gut feeling that something wasn't right. At 7:30 I called her, just to check in. She didn't answer. At 7:45 I called again. Straight to voicemail. I told myself to stop. She was probably in a meeting. Maybe her phone died. Maybe I was overthinking. But my thoughts kept circling back to one thing. That strange, sharp change in her tone these past few weeks. The same tone she used now. Polite, distant, as if talking to a coworker, not her husband. Around 8 o'clock I decided to go for a drive. It wasn't about following her. Not at first. I just needed to clear my head. But my car seemed to steer itself toward her office. It was raining lightly, the city lights blurred through the windshield, and I remember thinking how much I hated that I even needed to do this. When I pulled into the parking lot, it was half empty. The building was dark except for a few lights on the top floor. I parked and waited, feeling ridiculous, like some desperate fool spying on his own wife. I almost left. Should've. But then at 8:42 I saw her. Emma walked out, not with her coworkers, not carrying her laptop bag, but with him. A tall man in a navy coat. His hand resting on her lower back as they laughed together under an umbrella. She tilted her head up toward him, smiling in that way she hadn't smiled at me in months. And in that instant something inside me went cold. I didn't get out of the car. I didn't scream or make a scene. I just watched as they crossed the street, hand in hand, heading toward a small Italian restaurant, the same one where she and I used to celebrate our anniversaries. I recognized him then. His name was Nathan. He was one of her colleagues, the creative director she'd mentioned a dozen times. The one she said was funny and brilliant and so easy to work with. The one I never thought twice about. Till now. I sat there for nearly 20 minutes, my heart pounding, my thoughts spiraling. I could have confronted her right then, but I didn't. Instead, I pulled out my phone, opened our message thread, and read her last text again. Can't make it tonight. Work's insane. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard as I typed slowly, deliberately. Hope you're not working too hard. Grabbed dinner alone tonight. You'd love the view. Then I sent it. Through the rain, I saw her glance at her phone. She froze. Then looked at Nathan. He said something I couldn't hear, and she forced a smile. But her eyes flicked toward the window, scanning the parking lot. For a split second, her gaze landed on my car. Eyes met. Her expression shifted from calm to panic. I didn't wait to see what happened next. I put the car in gear and drove off. I didn't go home right away. I parked by the river, turned off the engine, and just sat there, listening to the rain tapping on the roof like a metronome marking the death of something sacred. I wasn't angry. Not yet. Just hollow. You spend years building a life with someone. The inside jokes, the small rituals, the quiet moments that make it feel safe. And then, in one night, it's like watching the house you built together burn down, while she's standing there with a match. I don't know how long I sat there before my phone buzzed again. Emma. Where are you? Emma. Can we talk? Emma. Please, David. It's not what it looks like. I didn't reply. At 11:17 I drove home. Her car wasn't in the driveway. The house was dark except for the faint glow of the living room lamp I'd left on earlier. I went upstairs, opened her drawer. Empty perfume bottle, her favorite sweater missing. She'd packed an overnight bag. That much was clear. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the framed photo on our nightstand. The two of us laughing at the beach last summer. How quickly a memory can turn into a lie. She came home around midnight. I heard her before I saw her. The quiet click of the front door, the hesitant footsteps in the hall. David, she called softly. I didn't answer. When she walked into the living room, I was sitting there on the couch, a glass of water in hand, her wedding ring, which I'd found in her coat pocket, sitting on the table between us. Her face drained of color. Where were you? Yes. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. I told you. Work ran late. We went out for a quick. Don't, I said quietly. Don't lie to me. Her lip trembled. It wasn't supposed to. Who is he? David. Ooh. He. She sank onto the couch opposite me, her voice breaking. Nathan. Just happened. I didn't mean for it to. I've been so unhappy, and I didn't know how to tell you. I laughed bitterly. So you told him instead. Tears filled her eyes. It wasn't like that. It wasn't serious. Then why did you lie to me? Silence. She couldn't answer. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The rain outside had stopped, but the silence inside the house felt heavier than thunder. You know what the worst part is, said finally. It's not the cheating. It's that you didn't even give me the chance to fix it. You just walked away before I even knew we were broken. Emma covered her face with her hands, sobbing quietly. I stood, walked to the door and opened it. You should go stay somewhere else tonight. She looked up at me, stunned. David, please. Go. She hesitated for a second, then nodded. She picked up her bag, pausing by the doorway. I'm sorry, she whispered. Yeah, I said softly. Me too. And then she left. The days that followed were strange. Quiet, almost peaceful in their emptiness. I went through the motions. Work, coffee, sleep, repeat. Friends texted. I ignored most of them. Emma tried to reach out, calls, messages, even a letter. I didn't respond. Not out of spite, but because I didn't trust my own emotions anymore. I wasn't ready to forgive, but I also wasn't ready to hate her. A month later, the divorce papers arrived. I signed them in silence. It's been 6 months now. Sometimes I still catch myself checking my phone around 6 p.m., expecting her usual on my way home text. Old habits die hard. But then I remember that night. The rain, the restaurant, the look on her face when she realized I knew. And I remind myself, peace doesn't always come wrapped in closure. Sometimes it comes in the form of silence, the calm after the storm you never wanted but survived anyway. Last week, out of nowhere, she texted again. Emma, I saw you at the cafe near your office. You look good. I hope you're doing okay. I stared at the message for a long time. Then finally I typed back. I am. Don't worry about me, Emma. You taught me how to let go. And for the first time since that night, I meant it. When you've loved someone that deeply, their betrayal doesn't vanish. It settles somewhere inside you, quiet but permanent, like a scar that aches in the rain. But it also teaches you something. That sometimes, strength isn't found in confrontation or revenge. It's in that calm moment when you finally stop chasing answers, stop rewriting what happened and simply say, I'm done. That's what my reply meant that night. Final. Freeing. The message that left her speechless wasn't filled with anger or threats. It was the sound of a man realizing he didn't need her apology to move on. And that silence was louder than anything she could have said.